The most disturbing MMO ever made.
The internet is a scary place.
Yes, it is.
Those who have grown up on
We just discovered it's a scary place.
it have seen some terrifying stuff over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So when you combine some of the darkest places on the internet with the most sociable
Do you remember the one where the glass broke inside of him? I remember. Yeah, I remember.
form of gaming, you end up with some of the most creepy and disturbing MMOs ever created. That's right. In today's video, I want to take a look at some of the most concerning, massively multiplayer online games to have ever existed and which are still playable in some capacity today.
I remember this.
So, if you enjoy hearing about MMOs that no one ever plays or have heard of, then maybe you'll also enjoy...
I see Sawman stealing ideas from Josh Strife Hayes. Well done. Well done. As we've learned, ABC, always be cheating. It works, apparently. Why did you remind me of the Pain Olympics? Super God, I can remind you of very many horrific things. I can even show you some of them.
My YouTube
but not
channel,
on stream,
where I go out my way to play dead and unpopular titles, which I then do.
I miss that beanie. I need to wear it again. Man, look how shitty my stream quality is.
Video essays for, which nobody...
He actually does a very, very good job as a VTuber. I still think that if he really wants to hit that 100k sub mark, he needs to get some big, gigantic tits on this dog, but, you know, to each their own.
Like and subscribe?
I stand by that statement.
So the intro out the way, and a quick warning to say you might be shocked at what you see. Let's begin with our delighter, and let's...
I stand by that. Big, fat, juicy, jiggly titties. Come on. You know the internet's full of men. You know how lonely they are. Just a little bit of cloth over some gigantic honkers. The little nipple impression that pushes through that. You're off to the big leagues.
Disturbing games that I'll be playing in today's video.
I'm gonna give him a like just for that. Endless Forest, never heard of it.
So the first game to kick off the list is The Endless Forest, which I would describe as a social MMO released back in 2005. I was able to download the game directly from the Endless Forest website, which by itself could be considered disturbing simply because of the layout and the color scheme.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. That's stylized, old school websites that look like trash. I miss these days. This was when the internet was new and shiny and people did wild shit online. Tell me right now, how many websites exist that you frequent on a daily basis? Fucking Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, nothing else out there. Dead internet theory holds true.
My PC had high enough specs to actually download this game. Also, to anyone interested, I'll have an article on my website with instructions and links to all the games that we mentioned today.
Shit, this man has a whole website. He's got a whole website now. Everyone's got a website. Well, let's hope that Sawman at least starts embedding. Because then he can pop off as a streamer as well.
Today. Anyway, enough shameless plugs. After a quick install, I loaded up The Endless Forest, which starts with a cinematic sort of title opening. The premises of the game is pretty simple. It's a social MMO where you are a deer in a forest and surrounded by other deers within the forest, and oh yeah, there's no text chat.
Wasn't this the entire premise of that one Twitch mod a while back, who was deer self and kept on banning people and dancing about it?
But what good is a MMO if you're not connected to the internet? Which was my first mistake. A trend throughout this video is that to actually get some of these games to work, I had to disable my antivirus. I put this down to the game being old as opposed to malicious, although if in the next couple of days my PC starts acting funny, I'll most likely look back at this video and say, yeah, that was the root cause.
He doesn't have to worry about that. Chinese companies have all your data anyway. What's a few more dick pics in the database? It don't do nothing. You know, over there in Asia, they see dick pics all the time because they've got all your info. If they see some dog dick, they just think it's a kebab.
Right there. Anyway, I'd installed Direct Play, I'd allowed this through my firewall, and I was ready to go back into the endless forest. And to my surprise, there were 52 other people playing.
52 other fucking people playing this game. Impressive. Gotta go. Have fun. Okay. Thanks for stopping by, Barando. You were just here for the drama, I know you were. You bastard. I don't blame you.
This game. 52! That's a lot. That's more than New World. The game starts with you waking up from a long sleep, I guess, and you discover that something weird has happened to your face. Yo, what the fuck?
It looks like grandma, the fucking thing!
What the Well, I know what I'm having nightmares about tonight.
Hey, get the fuck out of here! I don't even know if that's a fucking cat!
Yes, truly disturbing, I know. But not only that, you do have a bunch of actions at the bottom of your screen, which also expands when you reach something which is interactable. And that big yellow thing around me, I haven't got a clue what that is. That could be some satanic symbol for all I know.
Oh, cool. This game has a better UI than Life is Feudal.
I then went exploring for a bit when I think I bumped into another player. This deer looked more grown up than mine and without the weird face. I then proceeded to push all the actions at the bottom of my screen, and honestly they didn't seem to respond to anything I was doing, so I just assumed they were AFK. Either that or they died at their keyboard. I don't know, I'm just trying to...
Yeah, that's like a 95-year-old man who had a stroke 2 years ago and no one realized he died and he's just like rotting in a chair. And his family never checked on him. And that's just where his character was when he died. I'm not even joking. Fuck you, Yogi. God damn it.
This game seemed more disturbing than it actually is.
You motherfucker.
As luck would have it, I then ran into two other deers who also seemed to be AFK. And then I started to question that player count. I was slowly losing hope for this game. I'd hoped to find some underground cult community, but instead it was just AFK players. And that was until I met...
This could have been such a banger of an MMO, you know? All this game actually needed to be a banger of an MMO is everyone is assigned a deer and one character by RNG is a hunter with a fucking rifle. And his job is to take out as many of Bambi's moms as he can and leave that little shit an orphan.
Someone else. I couldn't believe my little beady deer eyes. Someone else was playing the game. What transpired next for the next couple of minutes was me simply pushing all the buttons, hoping something interesting would happen.
Please don't make the deer have sex. Please don't tell me that's in the game. Fuck, that's disturbing. Oh no, no, I'm out. No, thank you. What's the next one?
Apparently that scared them off and was the wrong move. Note for next time, I guess.
Chase after them.
I
It's like women, they don't get attracted to you unless you chase them all the way home. You can't just leave it like that. That's unresolved. You're going to be wondering what if for the rest of your life.
I carried on exploring and came across more and more haunting deer-like figures. I used the radar on the outside of the screen to find some landmarks, hoping to find people or a player hub, but I was just met with more loneliness. It felt more like a haunted forest as opposed to a endless one. I came here expecting some sort of quirky social MMO, but what I got in... Oh look, it's my friend from earlier. At least I think it is. I can't be sure because there are no name tags in this game, which just adds to...
Well, yeah, you're a fucking deer. You're a goddamn deer. You just think deer can read?
...the fun. I then proceeded to follow them, and they took me to some sort of well sort of thing. We ended up frolicking around for a bit when the strangest, most disturbing thing happened. We were joined by a third player.
Oh,
like,
Christ.
honestly, what are the chances that there'd be three of us playing this game this late at night? It's just random, right? We then found out if you drink the water, you turn into a frog. So guess what we did?
This is genuinely disturbing. Due to blacklisted just chatting. Well, they don't have an autism stream section, so yeah. That's probably why for now.
We all drank the water. Of course we
Christ.
did. Although for some reason, Steve here, yes, I named him Steve, turned into a squirrel. I just want to point out for the next 30 seconds, the music that plays is actually in-game music. Truly,
yeah, I understand that,
fucking
dog.
disturbing.
This is some fever dream shit. Who designed this?
Apparently, this was a real bonding moment for me, Steve, and I'm going to call him Kevin here. And we just proceeded to do the dance of my people. So how disturbing is this game? Well, let's rate it. The player models are definitely from someone with a disturbed mind, because that stuff haunts me still to this day.
Fair.
In terms of the music, I felt like I had a good ambience around it, a bit haunting, some might say. The premises of the game is somewhat disturbing. I mean, imagine talking to other players online.
Is that Piper play? You don't recognize the new Billie Eilish song? Come on. It's top of the charts these days.
I think there's a high chance some evil cult does their bidding from this game. You know, by doing deer signals and stuff. And the player base, well, you gotta be batshit crazy to play this.
Oh yeah.
Overall, I'd say it's pretty tame, 1 out of 5 in terms of being disturbed by this game. I promise you, the next one will be a lot more disturbing.
Great. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, now, I know some stuff about this game. Just a little bit. There are 2 people playing this game. There are 2 types of people playing Hello Kitty online. Can you guess the 2 categories? Group number 1, who plays Hello Kitty online. Group number 2, playing Hello Kitty online. That's it, that's the player base.
I don't play World of Warcraft.
Butters, you said you're on your computer all the time.
Yeah, but I'm playing Hello Kitty Island.
I just gotta say, World of War, like this WoW episode made me really fucking mad. Because none of it was accurate to the actual game. It was so surface level that it upset my autism.
Adventure.
Welcome to Hello Kitty's massively multiplayer online game.
A lot of you might be wondering, how the hell did Hello Kitty Online make the list?
Oh, there we go. You hear that music? That's the TikTok music of, this building has been abandoned for 2 weeks. And inside is something really disturbing. Unpaid taxes. Fucking all the time. I hate those fucking TikTok shorts. It drives me insane.
Well, there is a story to it. It was originally released back in 2009 and was a free-to-play MMO where you helped Hello Kitty do Hello Kitty stuff. Fun fact, did you know Hello Kitty isn't actually a cat? Weird,
Oh?
huh?
What?
In 2012, the game started to decline when it unofficially...
Wait, what the fuck? No, you can't just say that and move on. What the fuck is Hello Kitty if it's not a cat? What? Not a cat. I don't want to watch the YouTube video. Just tell me what the fuck it is. The mouth. What's it, a fucking amoeba? It's a little girl. Hello Kitty is a little girl. What the fuck are the stripes on the side of her face? The whip marks from her dad's, like, nailing her in the face with a belt? What the hell? I didn't need to know that.
Supported, and naturally, the player popularity also started to plummet. Download links to the game were also removed from the official website, and then in 2017, the servers were closed down. It would then be another couple of years before an official declaration that the actual developers behind Hello Kitty Online had officially shut down. And it actually took me a while to hunt down a working version of Hello Kitty Online, which is hosted on a private server. So of course, I went and played.
They're dragging kids into the private server.
This disturbing Hello Kitty utopia full of cowy kitty stuff. But anyway, through the power of private servers, I managed to create an account, log on, and get to see the character select menu. It was pretty simple in design, there wasn't too much to brag about.
Oh, it's very
but there is
cutesy.
one thing I do find quite disturbing, and that was selecting your blood type. Why on earth?
Well, I mean, Epstein has to know he's getting the right blood type into his body along with all the other politicians. I mean, look, if you're a 500-year-old eldritch creature ruling the world through politics, you don't, and your blood type, you don't want a different blood type, you gotta get the right one. You gotta know which kids you're gonna kidnap.
Was a game aimed at teenagers asking for their blood type, even though the game is supposed to be wholesome and fun. Hold up. There's a perfectly good explanation for this. For starters, in Japanese culture, sometimes your blood type can help determine your personality. When it comes to the game,
that's true. You know how like in the West, the easiest way to get laid is to find the dumbest woman out there who like deeply believes in astrological signs and just bullshit your way through to the other side. Yeah, it's the same with blood types for them.
Games industry, the Japanese do not push boundaries, okay? Except for when they just push past the boundaries.
That's
perhaps
better.
a video for another day. But listen, I made my character and I was ready to start my adventure. You can really tell who
That's
this
very
game is
cutesy.
aimed at, and I'm pretty confident.
This is super cutesy. This is definitely a honeypot for pedophiles.
I'm not the intended audience, but we'll get to that in a second. The game starts off by teaching you the basics of questing. It also teaches you the basics of your inventory. There are even materials for you to harvest and craft with, so it does have that all-round MMO feel about it. It's a very harmless MMO, and there's nothing really predatory about it.
Tell that to the cops.
Apart from the actual predators who played it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll be honest, I'm not a Hello Kitty fan, so I don't really know the lore, but I'm pretty sure it's not aimed at anyone above the age of 20. I mean, just look at this minigame that I'm playing. It's not exactly Elden Ring, is it? And this is when it takes a turn for...
Hey. You give this to someone under the age of 25 and you see if they can get this right. I guarantee you 1 in 5 fail this.
the worse, because what if I was to tell you the game was targeted by hackers, which resulted in 3.3 million user accounts being leaked. Personal details.
Doing God's work, putting all of them on a list, that's brilliant, that's beautiful. Sometimes hackers can be a force for good. Exposing these motherfuckers, brilliant.
Details such as first name, last name, age, gender, country of origin, email address,
there you go,
and even their forgotten password.
Oh yeah, there you go. Put them on the list. Steven's 35 years old. Yo, Steven, what the fuck you doing on Hello Kitty, huh? We saw those messages. You sent to little girl 22.
Were all leaked, but don't panic. The credit card details were safe and they weren't leaked.
Wait, didn't the hackers also show that? Well, he just said that they weren't leaked.
This information was freely available for a month, which in internet terms means it's probably out there forever.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a new concept, a MMO aimed at kids. There have been plenty over the years. However, to my knowledge, they haven't been hacked and had all their player details leaked to the dark web.
Yeah,
So
okay, that is actually a little bit terrifying. So it was out there for a month, and like you said, that means it's out there forever. That is actually super disturbing.
how disturbing is Hello Kitty Online? I think as a game, it's perfectly fine. But the fact that they had such a big data breach, it really does make me question how much they actually protected the players who actually played the game. So it's probably a good thing the game got shut down, but let's be honest, it's still quite disturbing.
Y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife.
Oh, and apparently Hello
Damn, that's some old ass memeage there. He went into the archives for that one.
Kitty is demonic and used to spread satanic messages or something. So I'm gonna give.
Oh yeah, that's the whole fucking boomer thing where everything they don't understand is Satan. Yeah, that was even down here. That was such a common thing back in the day in the 90s. Everything that boomers didn't understand was automatically Satan. Phone rings a little bit too loud and they can't change the ringtone? Satan. Video game has rock music in it? Satan. Literal game where you're Jesus fighting demons? Satan.
Give this a 2 out of 5 on the Disturbed score, simply because it seems like a game that Dr. Disrespect might send you whispers on.
Hey, there you go. He understands the player base just as well as I do. Are you implying Skibidi Toilet isn't satanic? I'm talking about a time metal when it was accused of Satanism, not when it actually was Satanism.
That's damn right creepy and disturbing.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Yeah, there you go. That song was a banger, by the way.
Worlds.com was the first internet-based virtual chat. It was created back in 1995 and allowed players from all around the globe to interact with one another across
Why does this just look like a reskin of Doom?
the web. It's safe to say that VR chat has evolved over the years. Worlds.com still remains one of the most notable.
There is nothing better or funnier than finding children in a video game that's online and making them have a mental breakdown. It's like music to my ears. Seeing them have a breakdown, you hear the mom through the mic bust down the back door. Little Billy's about to get the thrashing of his life. There's nothing more magical than those moments. I miss them. I miss them.
Notorious VR chats out there,
God damn it,
and it's
Ashura.
for several good reasons. There have been rumours of online cults, general creepiness, and some truly bizarre player-created worlds that you can go and visit. Sadly though, at the time of making this video, I have some bad news. When I went to play Worlds.com, there was a slight issue with connecting to the servers.
Oh no.
I did all my usual troubleshooting steps, but I was still unable to connect. So I went to the Worlds.com Reddit, and what I saw was not great.
Oh no. Not working.
The servers are down, and no one knows when they'll be back up again. There's even a Worlds offline subreddit. That's devotion for you right there. Now,
Damn.
the good news is you can play it offline, but what that means is that you can't go to any custom worlds.
Means you can't harass children. You can't traumatize 5-year-olds into believing that Satan lives under their bed. You can't go out of your way to ensure that the next generation is raised with some fear in their hearts. It's really disturbing. Really, really sad.
Which is pretty much the highlight of this game, and where you can find all the depravity. It's been over a month, and there's no official reason as to why it's been taken down either. But
I swear to God. You know what this just made me think of? I swear to God, I'd be real disappointed if he doesn't mention Club Penguin.
in the interest of science, I did play it offline quite a bit, and there was still some disturbing stuff to be found. So, you know, don't panic. I still have some footage to show you. So one of the first things to hit you is just how retro these graphics are. If anything, it reminds me of Duke Nukem 3D, if you're old enough to know what that is, and cool enough to know what that is.
Hail to the king, baby.
Duke Nukem 3D, Wolfenstein, Doom. That's what this reminds me of.
As you saw, I was a grey blob, so I need to change my avatar. Now, unfortunately, because the server is down, this ain't gonna happen.
Ooh, that does some disturbing ass models.
But I do get to see the types of avatars you can pick from. And I just want to point out, these are in the base game. These aren't custom ones. These are ones the developer thought would be appropriate. I think I've just shown my age here, but they remind me of like 90s rave music videos. You know, like the one that Jason Statham was in?
Well, I didn't need to know that about this guy's life.
But anyway, I digress. Now, one of the cool things about this game was that it was trying to create a
No. Realistic models like that? No, bad idea. No.
Verse that pretty much anyone could invest in, and it actually managed to draw in some big celebrities. So the first world we're going to visit is Bowie World. You know, David Bowie. The idea is simple.
You're fucking kidding me, right? David Bowie is in this game?
You and other David Bowie fans could meet up in this virtual world, talk about David Bowie, discuss his music, and there's also a virtual store which has band tees and other cool stuff which you can actually buy in real life. Watch.
This is the kind of game where like super fans go meet up to talk about David Bowie, and the one guy's too much of a little ultra fan, and he's telling everyone about how he's worked out a plan, exactly how he's gonna murder David Bowie and wear his skin. This is the kind of shit that people use to like coordinate like the murder of famous celebrities and like how they would do it. This is that the oh no.
As I click on this poster, and look, a web link opens to a merch store. It's like the year 3000 or something.
God damn.
But before I could exit through the gift store, I had to go through what I could only describe as a David Bowie induced acid trip. You've been warned.
The fuck? Oh, cool. This is just like in the basement of the White House. What do you mean, David Bowie? This is just, you know. You go down the stairs, you ask Biden for the keys, and he's like, and you take the keys, and this is underneath. Yeah, this is right there. Like, come on.
I assume this is supposed to be like the Church of Bowie or something. I'm not too sure what the...
I mean, look, there's Kamala Harris right there. Come on. It's obvious.
Devil creature thing is in reference to. I made my way down a corridor, and it actually led me to an indoor stage. I assume that's what it's supposed to be. I can imagine it's 1995 and everyone's come to the Bowie concert on wells.com, and there's no voice chat, so it's just a bunch of people typing out lyrics at the same time, maybe coordinating when to push play on the tape recorder at the exact same time. Man, what a time to be alive. I truly missed out. Take that, Travis Scott Fortnite concert. Nobody cares. We got Bowie.
Man, Fortnite stole every idea they had, and they went real deep into the past. If that's Kamala Harris, where's the coconut tree? Based on what she said, the nuts are in her mouth, and they're gonna stay there for a while. But who knows?
I then found a bunch of rooms which were themed after David Bowie throughout the years, and honestly, nothing in this was really disturbing. It just reminded me of a really bad MySpace fan page, if you know the sort. But as much as I was loving Bowie...
He calls it bad. I call it a time of adventure. MySpace was a beautiful kaleidoscope of disasters.
I will coconut in her face.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Trump did bang her at some point. And then lie about it, and then pay her to shut up. And then pretend he didn't do it. And then say he did do it. And then say he doesn't know who Kamala Harris is. I wouldn't be surprised.
Land by myself at like 11 o'clock at night. There was somewhere else I needed to be. And that was, of course,
It's Britney, bitch.
Oh my god. This is when Britney Spears was still somewhat of a human fucking being. Before she went off the deep end and became an eldritch creature. My god. To think once upon a time before her soul and mind were sacrificed for a good harvest that year, that she was a person. It's really impressive.
Okay.
I swiftly went to a place called the Black Hill Forest, which I assume was supposed to be a horror chat room. But the initial first impressions is it's an American
Well,
diner.
I'm gonna lay
which
into that bitch in 2 weeks. Just you wait and see.
Pegging doesn't count.
I'm sure is a horror to anyone with high cholesterol. There wasn't much to do inside the diner, so of course I went outside, which is where the horror bit started to kick in.
There we go.
Now, I'm sure this would be scary to most people, but they don't realise how much time I put in the endless forest, so this is child's play, really.
True.
And in case you haven't figured it out yet, the theme that they were going for on this world was the Blair Witch Project, so there you go. That's why it's supposed to be spooky and scary. However, if I wasn't scared by the Blair Witch Project, then I'm not going to be scared by the VR chat room designed around the same movie. Oh god, what's that noise?
Whee! There we go. You still wanna fuck that? She's dancing with knives. That fucking psycho is dancing with knives. You still wanna bang that? You sure?
I think it's time to go to Hanson World. To clarify, Hanson the band, not Hanson the Predator cat.
Also, thanks for the follow, Docman.
Sure. If I'm being completely honest, the vanilla game just isn't that disturbing. The most disturbing thing about it is probably all the big corporations and celebrities that bought into it. When we get down to brass tacks...
This was the time... Okay, so keep this in mind. This is the time of the dot-com bubble, right? This is where anything online anywhere was seen as the most appealing shit for every company in the world. They all thought that they just need to spooge money at anything that had the internet or .com attached to it, and they would just make a huge amount of bank. It didn't work. That's why we have the .com bubble burst. Most of it was a scam. Millions of dollars were lost.
The game just wasn't meant to be some sort of scary, creepy dystopia. It just accidentally comes across that way. And where the true infamous content actually comes from is the custom worlds that other players made. And even then, the truth was very much stretched as to what some of these worlds were all about. For instance, the world's mugshots was seen as a place where people's pictures were stolen and posted on the internet. But in actual fact, these pictures were submitted by the players themselves in a way to sort of have a profile picture and to show themselves off in the different galleries. And one of the biggest rumors to hit Worlds.com was the existence of cults hiding within the custom world.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely cults hiding in this game. Alright, good night tape. Yeah, probably on the Tuesday stream, I'm going to focus primarily on clips. I'm going to try and get it all done in one shot so that it's out the way. I do still have to do my job today, unfortunately. So, like, after I stop, I'm going to go to bed, wake up, work my ass off, and then hopefully by tomorrow, after I'm done with my job, then I can stream. Because I just streamed today because I was fucking burned out from working my ass off.
Because, you know, if you're some satanic cult, of course you're going to hide out in a 1995 VR chat room. And what these rumors essentially boiled down to was that some users from 4chan and other like-minded sites would explore Worlds.com, troll a little bit, and scare people a little bit. One of the most
The good old days.
infamous ones being Nexalist, who's had several YouTube videos made about them, and I think anyone with a reasonable IQ can tell within minutes of the interactions that it's just some light-hearted trolling. However, the internet being the internet, people ran with the story, which is where most of the notoriety comes from. And if you still think...
You gotta remember, keep this in mind, right? What people need to realize is people were scared of these models and what was happening here. Understand how caveman we all were back then. We quite literally thought before the year 2000 that the Y2K apocalypse was going to happen, where what was going to happen was everything that read 19999, like anything that was like 99999, they thought it was going to tick over to 0, reset, and the world was going to fucking end, and then the digital age was going to collapse. That's how fucking stupid people were. They were scared of a 1. They were literally scared of a single digit. So that is unsurprising that people were terrified of this back in the day.
This game has some sort of dark past to it. Well, just think about this. It was released in 1995. It is now the year 2024. You don't make it that long if you have some sort of dodgy, shady, illegal activities going on. Especially when you consider what...
I don't know why he's saying dodgy, shady, illegal activity and he's standing in that fucking Andrew Tate bedroom.
This thing actually runs
God
on,
damn it.
which is a very basic form of Java. It's not exactly going to be hard to, go through the logs, the chat logs, and see what sort of dodgy stuff was going on. I'll guarantee you right now that more degeneracy has taken place in VR chat.
Oh, God.
I mean, come on, do you want this burnt thing served to you? I mean, here, taste this.
The only disturbing
That's better.
thing about this title is the amount of corporate entities who bought into it. So how disturbing is Worlds.com?
To put it into perspective, corporate entities were so desperate to be online that there was a university student who opened up a web page with something like 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, and he charged companies $1 per pixel, or something fucking stupid like that. Or was it 100,000 by 100,000? I can't remember. But all I know is that by the time the page was filled with pixels of different colors, that university student had made $1 million. That's how desperate all these companies were and how retarded they all were at the birth of the internet. A student quite literally just had a website that was just pixels, and he charged companies $1 for them to put their logo, and it had all their logos, and he filled the space, and he made $1 million off of a bunch of dumbass companies who were so desperate and so FOMOing to get in on the space that they would do anything in the world. So it doesn't surprise me that they invested a fuck ton of money into some stupid shit like this back in the day.
I'm going to say inconclusive for now, and if the servers do come back up, I will come back to the game and continue my investigation, because right now the game is pretty tame, which can't...
Wait, I have to rewatch this. Is this what NFT bros think that the metaverse would be? No, this is way too advanced and too functional to be NFTs. This works too well for it to be anything to do with NFTs in the metaverse. You'd need to drop the quality by about 5x. You'd have to increase the price by about 300x. And then you're starting to approach a metaverse.
Can't be said for the next title on this list.
Hey, Second Life. This is when I recognized there were documentaries in my country on this shit. There was a woman in my country making fucking bank, having online sex with lonely men with her avatar. And the woman in real life was hideous. She was a disaster. She looked like if a thumb got mutated with a blueberry. And she might not have been the prettiest woman on the planet, but fuck, she had a brain between her ears because she knew exactly what to do to get all these fucking simps. So you know what? Everyone thinks that this whole simp epidemic started recently. This shit's been going on forever. Since men and women's ancestors crawled out of the primordial soup, since we were amoeboids, there have been simps. They've been there forever. They're never going away.
Second Life is usually overlooked by the wider MMO community. It is indeed a social MMO, and it has over 68 million
God damn, look at the fucking wagons on these women. Jesus Christ.
registered users. Launching back in 2003, it is by no means the oldest on the list, but it's certainly seen its fair share of players. What makes the game so unique is the ability to create your own avatars as well as player content.
Again, you know what I said about simps? The same holds true for furries. They've been there since the beginning. They've just gotten increasingly more efficient at being degenerate over time.
And essentially, when it comes down to the gameplay, it's what I like to call a role player's wet dream. But despite all this, it's probably by far the most disturbing game on today's list. But before I tell you why, let's see if I can figure it out for myself by, playing the actual game. Now, the good news is it is free to play and fairly simple to set up. So let's start with the first disturbing feature, which is, of course,
I can't believe this is still alive.
the character creator. The first thing that Second Life does is that
You see, that was a bad decision. He started a character on hard... Oh, wait, no, never mind. He changed it to easy mode.
lures you into a false sense of security. It makes you think this is the actual character creator and it looks something similar to The Sims. But this is just a placeholder until you get into the actual game. But anyway, I created my character, I then got some advertisement for a subscription, and then the game loaded.
Yeah, there you go.
It's worth pointing out that the actual client seems to be web-based, but there was still a config file you had to install. As far as first impressions go, I did notice that my character didn't seem to be quite there. And there's also someone drowning in the water, I don't know if you caught that. But eventually, I did load in, and yeah, I looked glorious. The game starts with a tutorial, and it's basically...
You know, looking back at all these older models, they all look like you're wearing someone else's skin. We've come real far with graphics. And then we went backwards when we made things like Concord, but we did come real far in the first place. I have bad news. A lot of men were caught pretending to be women with AI. Filter, I've pretended to be a woman online when I was a young man. When I played Ion, I made a female character. I made her hot as shit. Me and my buddy did that. We played Ion, and guess what? It was the easiest gaming experience I've ever had in my life. We were given everything. Everything. And all we had to do was act like we were girls over the age of 16 who were too shy to talk most of the time. It was my easiest leveling up experience of any MMORPG I've ever played.
Signpost you read, it tells you, the basic controls. And to my surprise, there were other players doing the same tutorial as me. And what can I say? So far, nothing Okay, that's slightly disturbing. Now, you might be wondering, why is that disturbing? Well, the main reason is because this game has a lot of adult themes, which I'll get to a bit later. So to portray yourself as the baddest princess and be of a questionable look, height, and everything else, you know exactly where I'm going with this.
Yep.
I'm getting the word nonce.
So yeah, only a couple minutes in, and I've already witnessed someone trying to roleplay as a small child. What is this, Black Desert Online?
No, it's Final Fantasy. Black Desert Online at least has the courtesy of allowing you to pretend that this is not a child but some form of midget race. But what's really, really cool about Black Desert Online is I learned that on the back end, they have like a tracking system for the characters. And if you make the small child race, you get put on a list automatically. It's brilliant.
Now, part of the tutorial is actually the character creator screen, which is pretty complex. I'll be completely honest with you, I messed around with this character creator for quite some time, and even then, I still don't get my character to look the way I wanted it to. It's a very complex system, and that's a good thing in some sense, because it means you can look exactly...
This is just the Oblivion character creator.
...how you want. Which is also a bad thing, because as we saw earlier, some people take it to the extreme. Interestingly enough though, you can buy outfits and costumes and all that jazz, and you can even morph yourself into other unhuman stuff. It's at this point, it's probably worth mentioning the first bit of controversy, which was that Certain players were posing as much younger players using the character creator screen and then charging other players to do certain acts.
The fat, hideous goblin in my country. And they made a whole documentary about this woman in my country. And she was making bank. This was back in like the early 2000s. She bought like 7 different homes with the amount of money she earned by getting people to bang her fucking online character. And she like literally, like in the documentary, she showed her process, and she's like literally sitting there in a chair, leaning back, eating fucking cheese curls with one hand and typing with the other. Oh yeah, baby, do that to me. And then she's just like fucking stuffing her face. It was so disturbing. It stressed me out. It changed me as a young man. I never trusted what was behind a model ever again.
To them, whilst their avatar was taken on a much younger look. I know this is the worst description ever of the events that took place, but this is YouTube and you have to play by their rules.
You do.
It's actually quite rife for...
Keep in mind, YouTube systems, if you want to touch down on little kids, you're allowed to exist on their platform. As long as you don't say any bad words.
About Second Life apparently, and it's known as something called age play. And the devs
no.
of Second Life have been accused on multiple occasions of not doing enough to combat it. But we'll get to that a bit later.
You know, I'm not against them doing this. I'm actually not against age play. And I'll tell you why. Right? I think they should have leaned more into the age play stuff, like as much as possible. But I think they should have had a system where in order to do age play, you would have to reveal your full address so that other people could in real life hunt you down with a hammer. That would have been cool. They should have leaned further into it.
But anyway, moving on swiftly, in the end I picked a preset character simply because I was just getting bored and frustrated with the actual character creator and I just wanted to play the game.
Yeah, now he's just playing Dark Age of Camelot.
I did change the character model slightly, but not enough to call it my own. With the tutorial completed, I was ready to jump into the main game, and boy was it going to get interesting from here. I know I shouldn't judge, but there are some right weirdos in this game. I had made it to the central hub, which allows you to fast travel to different areas within the world of Second Life. There was romance, there was beaches, and apparently random naked ladies just appearing out of nowhere. I'm not against it, but obviously for YouTube reasons, this is me right now.
Yeah, so you quite literally can't play this. You can't stream this shit on Twitch. This is not happening. You're not going to have a cash money time. That's how you get your stuff deleted.
Saying there's plenty of worlds to choose from. There's even one dedicated to other like mini games and stuff. I think there's even like an FPS game that you can play.
That's almost as bad. That's almost as bad as the difference in gameplay between the Elder Scrolls Online trailers and the actual game. Almost as bad.
There was even a timetable as to like when certain events would be taking place. One in particular was for Star Trek, which even came with a holodeck, so it was like a simulation inside a simulation.
Of a simulation inside a simulation of a simulation inside the Matrix inside a
Taco inside a taco
inside a simulation. It is very strange. It is very
yeah, that makes sense.
Very meta. I'm not sure how big the world map is, but there's spots that you can go to just by traveling there, and then there's like certain destinations which are advertised or highlighted or just well-known hangouts. There's a whole area dedicated to ERP, and you can even like buy mods or outfits or I don't know.
You know what the thing is? This is an aging player base, right? No one, there's no new players going into this aside from Sawman, which means technically most of the people playing this game that he's hanging around are probably in their late 70s or older. He's just surrounded by grannies finger blasting themselves and old men yanking a half standing chain right now. Just a bunch of old ass boomers, the grayest hair you've ever seen, coming dust all over their keyboard while he's just walking around this world.
I don't know. You just buy dicks for your character. Obviously, for the purpose of the YouTube video, I'm not going to show that, but you get the gist. There's a lot of adult themes in an adult area, although surprisingly, it was very dead. I didn't find any other players here. It was deserted.
Well, yeah, that's because old people don't do bumper cars, they do bowls.
I did try and find some unique places to go and visit, but honestly, nothing really stood out, and Reddit wasn't that helpful.
Wait, hold on, what? I later went to an adoption agency, a fiery child mess. I decided to NPC my child after that. What? What? Greeted by is a dog that you can have sex with. Oh, cool. This is just Sawman's live streams.
So I decided to check out some of the nightclubs because apparently it's got quite a big music scene. And even that was just weird. I mean, I was going to places where I was being greeted by people who, honestly, it just felt like they were bots. It felt like very artificial as to what was going on. And that's pretty much where I stopped playing. I kind of had enough after a couple of hours of seeing over horny avatars on the internet.
He thinks they're bots, but they're not. Think about the way old people communicate on Facebook. Go on Facebook right now, create an account, or don't, because Lizard Boy will steal your data. But if you go on Facebook and you look at any of the posts made by anyone, their youngest users, so like anyone who's like 75, the way they communicate is so devastatingly terrible that I genuinely believe he's not interacting with bots here. He's actually just interacting with old people on the verge of death.
Just be overly horny, I guess. But look, it wasn't all terrible. I can respect the fact that a lot of thought and effort had gone into some of the world building. However, it just seemed that every world I went to, there's some
look
random
at the fucking dump truck on that one. Jesus. Don't worry about that. That's for later.
Big-titted avatar just stood around waiting.
God
You want to
damn!
make my cock explode now? Sorry, intercourse?
So
Hey,
how disturbing
Jesus
is
Christ.
Second Life, you might be wondering. As a gaming concept, I think it was ahead of its time. The idea of having a fully customizable avatar, which you can then put into social situations, I mean, who's not going to like that? It's a cool idea. But unfortunately, there aren't restrictions as to what you could do with your avatar. The fact that age play is so prevalent in this game, and it's only this year they've started to clamp down on it, is kind of worrying. In fact, it's just downright disturbing. And I think this goes beyond it just being a little bit of harmless fun, a bit of like a kink, and it's just wrong and concerning. And I'll be honest with you, I felt a bit...
Second Life just confirmed itself as a gateway drug towards pedophilia.
on edge playing this game because I kept getting DMs with links to random websites, and these were websites outside of the game, so God knows where they would take you to. I mean, what even was this file?
See, what did I say? It's Facebook. It's just Facebook with a VR system attached to it. Or not even a VR, like an MMO attached to it.
Prompt. Overall, it was just a very uncomfortable experience, and I'm not trying to be prudish here, but when people just seem to be 24/7 horny or bots or just fucking spam or virus.
Did he bring up the green troll? No, but I don't know what he's complaining about. He's just describing Facebook or Instagram. Like what does he expect? This is just the average social media experience.
I don't know, man. I just didn't want to play it. I think there'd be less risk in using LimeWire to download the entirety of Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I generally feel like I'm on some FBI watch list now just for downloading and playing this game. And
it's fine. They don't go after dogs. I'd be more worried about the lonely white woman in California. That's more of a concern now than going to prison, especially for you, Sawman. Second Life is what Meta wants with their third realm. I refuse to call it Meta. First of all, it's Facebook. Second of all, Lizard Boy can come up with whatever the fuck he wants. He had one good idea and it's all just downhill after there.
Telling you now, the fact that the stuff around the PDF files has only just come to light makes me wonder what other dark secrets it's actually hiding.
Oh, cool. So it's like a Diddy-style game where you can get away with the allegations for like 30 years and then it becomes a problem. Nice.
So, yeah, overall, very disturbing experience. I'll give it a 5 out of 5 on the disturbed list. Only play this game if you feel lonely at night and you want the FBI to be watching you. Now, believe it or not, there are a lot more games I wanted to add to this list, but it's a 30-minute long video, and I'm not even sure who's going to watch this.
Me?
So, if you want to see part 2 of this video, get it to 1,069 likes.
Ooh, look at that. He's at 2.5k. He's got to make another one of these.
They'll go review some even more disturbing games than what you've just witnessed. And on that bombshell, I'm going to end the video there. Just a friendly reminder that all these games...
So when he says more disturbing games, he's going to go play Final Fantasy.
...will be featured on my website, so feel free to check that out. And obviously, if you want to see more content from myself, go subscribe. What's stopping you?
Yeah, not bad.
Might as
Pretty
well
good video.
to this part of the video. But anyway, that's enough from me. Shout out to my YouTube and Patreon members. You guys make life worth living. And I'll leave a couple of videos on the screen for you now, which you might enjoy. Bye-bye for now.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Pretty good video. I've heard of one of those games. The rest of this is just disturbing as fuck. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've heard of Hello Kitty Online as well. Very disturbing. Very panic-inducing. Very nice. Very solid. Well done to him. Do you think there's a chance that if I scroll down, I'm going to see a comment by someone who's saying that he just doesn't understand how good Second Life is and how their incredibly old, ancient MMO is actually top-tier content? It's got to be there somewhere, right? Maybe it's just my being chronically chained to the internet for 20 plus years. But these were pretty weak examples of disturbing MMOs. This is a man who doesn't understand how YouTube works. This is a man who doesn't understand that if Sawman starts to go deeper, YouTube's coming for his ass. That new CEO is going to be in Sawman's bed tonight. Hi, Endless Forest player here. Your fawn ages in real life, in real time, and it takes a month to grow up properly. You can also change your appearance. And a lot of people just let the game run in the background as a screensaver, especially if they were a kid in the 2010s to 2000s who played it back in. That's incredibly disturbing and a terrible game mechanic. Imagine aging in real life at the same age as a deer, and instead of playing the game, you just sit there like this, waiting for something to happen. My God.